Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
A listener sent this to me a couple of days ago. I heard on your radio program, which I have a hard time to listen because of my schedule. On that show, you requested to hear from like-thinking individuals. I don't recall that because I want to hear from all thinking individuals, but okay, if he took it that way, his name is John. If John took it that way, that's fine. So John says, I am white, born in 1943, poor. My mother and father divorced. Mother was on aid to totally disabled, and my brother and I were on Social Security survivor's insurance. Before I go further on what John's talking about here, my brother and I had an almost identical situation. Mother, single mom, and she lives with my grandparents, takes us in tow. My mother dies, and we end up on Social Security. My brother and I got like $100 a month each for, until we turned 18 or something like that. That's what it took. That's the amount of money my grandparents had to raise us, was $100 a month for till we turned 18. So anyway, I can certainly, John and I share that in common. He goes on to say this: in our neighborhood, which was mixed, black, white, and Hispanic and Oriental. I like the way he put that because that's what they used to call Asians back in the day, was Orientals. He says, yet we were all family. None of us could do anything wrong while walking home from school without our family at home and we knowing before we got home. Nobody in the neighborhood went without because the churches, Salvation Army, neighbors would be there to help. He says, I have so much to say and only a few people who would listen. Most of the younger progressive people do not know history and will not listen because they, quote, know it all. Hope you know you are not alone. There are people who have lived through the progressive horror and know what is happening, but nobody to listen. So, John, I feel your won't sound like Clinton, but John, I feel your pain. But I do. I feel your pain because people of your generation have seen this world. They've seen America, change so much for the better, in the sense that there was a time where John couldn't play with these young black kids, or even the kids that he played with. He had to go through this period where, of understanding what was going on. It was a racially sensitive time. As he's born in 43, he came of age in the 60s. The very kids that he grew up playing with are now the people who are part of the fist-raising movement, Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud, and so on and so forth. And the, Hispanics and the Orientals, as he called them. So many of these changes occurred, and John's going, I used to play with these kids, and it was no big deal. And even through that evolution, America still became amazing. I was talking to some folks the other day. We were talking about how kids are so open-minded and have such an understanding. And one of the guys argued with me because the place I was doing this particular speech was in Franklin County, Missouri. And it is lily white. By the way, one of the most beautiful drives through wine country if you take 94. It's just stunning. These little homesteads. And then you end up in Franklin County, and it's just a cool little spot. And so this guy's telling me, Kevin, these kids, they don't have a lot of diversity here. And I go, okay, big deal. So what? Let me tell you what they do have. There may not be a lot of diversity there, but TV is diverse. Your kids go to colleges. They go hang out with their friends. It isn't like the old days where you had 3 channels of TV, 4 if you could get the UHF one to come in every now and then. You had 1 or 2 radio stations. You had complete, people's time was occupied with work and mostly family. And on the weekends, you might have had a friend or two or a relative come by. It isn't like it is today. Today, you've got the internet. You've got just so many distractions. And your kids are on playing club ball, so they're traveling and seeing other kids and hanging out. So no matter how lily white or lily black or whatever your area is, you understand race and you understand what's going on in the world. These kids today have no issue with interracial dating, interracial marriage, interracial friendships. Remember, And now look, I can tell you in America, many a kid brought home a white kid and a black mom would go, "Oh, how you doing, Daniel?" Or whatever. Many white families brought home a black kid, like, "Hey, what's going on, Shaquan?" The father, "Hey, Shaquan, how are you?" We've always been so ready to embrace these kids. And let me tell you, the only thing that any of these parents have cared about was, are you a good kid, a good influence on my son or my daughter, or are you not? If you are, congratulations. If you're not, move along. It's really that simple. And so John has seen this. It's funny to watch it, because John grew up in this, as he said, ethnically mixed neighborhood where everybody parented and did things together. And he watched the world evolve and become cynical and to where it is. And we find ourselves today where kids are exactly the way John grew up. Yet they still have to deal with all these race-based issues. And I think that's where guys like John and me go, are you kidding? We've come full circle where all these kids play together, hang out together and stuff, and yet the government and the leftists want them to believe that they're racist. How so? I'd be curious. Explain it to me. How are they possibly racist with everything that's going on here? But that's what they're being taught. They're being taught that they lived in the same neighborhoods, families had the same opportunities, dads probably worked at the same mill or whatever, and they're saying by John's birthright of being a white guy, he has a silver spoon in his mouth, and the black kids and the Hispanics and the Orientals don't. Nonsense. Anyway, John, I appreciate the note. I'm not frustrated, because I know that, don't look at me like that. I'm not frustrated. I'm just trying to figure out. I'm not even trying to figure it out. I know how to do it. My frustration, if there is any, and I'm not admitting to it, is that we aren't solving the problem, and we're still in kind of this analysis of it. We don't need to analyze the problem. We know what it is. And I'm trying to offer solutions to fix it. I mean, that's what I get up in the morning doing. And I spend a lot of time at it, I'll tell you that. Anyway, we got a lot more to talk about. Iranian hackers, Amazon's new market cap, if you haven't heard that. Seth Rich, maybe we'll get to a Seth Rich story. A lot of people have been asking me for that.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Beth Cook Moranville, author of Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope.
Hope, that wonderful, wonderful 4-letter word that you may feel completely out of. I wrote this book to give you great hope. It's not too late. If fetal position is an all too familiar place for you, I understand. If the next 60 seconds are too long, this book is for you. Wherever you are right now, whether you're dealing with divorce or death or sickness, take hope. You are going to make it through this pain. Don't roll your eyes. I've walked this road and I know it. The best is yet to come.
Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope from author and speaker Beth Cook Moranville, can be found on Amazon.com or Kindle.com. For more information, visit closerthanyourBreath.com or on Facebook at Closer Than Your Breath.